welcome back to another Plomo review. Today we're taking a look at the Real Robot Revolution new Layzner. Alright, and starting off as always with the articulation. This guy's a little bit on the big side, so maybe a little bit unwieldy to show all this off, but I'll certainly try my best. The head is on a front to back hinge in the neck, as well as a ball joint in there. Not a ton side to side, just because it sits a little bit high, but you can at least get a rotation pretty much all the way around. The shoulders are on a upwards hinge about that far, as well as a peg rotation. No front to back movement, which is actually kind of disappointing, though it can go out. You move this up a little bit further. Pretty much 90 degrees. It's a little bit below 90, but it's close enough. You of course get a bicep rotation, single jointed elbow, but it does get over 90 degrees, and the hands are ball jointed, as well as the ball jointed thumb, trigger finger, and these are connected. There's also a hinge in here, but you don't really actually get much more than a little bit inward with it. It is there though. The little front verniers do technically move, but there's a massive gap under there. I'm pretty sure they're not meant to move. As for the backpack, these connectors can swivel, but we'll get to that later. This can move up and down. It's also because of the weapon storage. This can hinge a little bit back and forth. These are on ball joints, but they're very tight, so you're probably going to want to be careful when you're moving them. The waist is on a ball joint, but it's honestly so deep in there you don't get much more than a rotation out of it. If you try and move it anyway besides that, it kind of just pops off. Front skirt is hinged, as well as can move side to side, though that doesn't really get it out of the way of the hips much. Side skirts can do the same thing, as well as the back skirt. Amazingly, there's actually a swivel side to side in the hips here, which actually helps a lot because the hips are just ball joints. It's not even a thigh cut in there, it's literally just like an old high-grade style ball joint. However, because of how big this thing is, it's the tightest thing in the world, and God, that's terrifying. You can kick out about that far, though you could probably get a bit more if you fiddle with the skirts a bit. About that far to the back, it really is that tight. And just about under 45 degrees out to the either side. You do get a little bit of swivel side to side on that, though you can't really use that if you want it up on a stand, because I'll bring it up now. There's no stand adapter on this thing. There's no peg hole, there's no thing it comes with. You literally just have to use the nut cradle and just slap it on there. Reminder, this came out in 2007, and the Gallia that came out the next year had like 3 different ways to connect it to an action base. Besides that, you do get a double jointed knee, though that top joint doesn't really get much movement there. Second one picks up the slack and gets almost a full bend anyway. The ankle piece is on a hinge as well as a swivel, so it can actually shift side to side slightly, giving it a little bit more range there. Feet are on massive ball joints in there, as well as a hinge front to back, though honestly it doesn't really want to move on mine at all. Get a little bit more to the front, but it is super tight. Oh boy. Okay. You can get a backwards hinge, though it's ungodly tight. Polycaps in this thing have absurd tolerances. Basically, the only loose joints on this entire thing are this top joint here, and these joints are just plastic on plastic. All the polycaps are way tighter. So overall, the articulation is it's a little lacking, but it's not bad enough that I can really complain. Like, I wish it was slightly better, but it's not a deal breaker or anything. Alright, moving on to accessories and gimmicks. Let's start off, as always, with the sticker sheet, or sheets, and by extension, color correction. The only stickers I used were the eye stickers, though you do actually get a water slide sheet. I didn't use any of them because I don't like these labels, and these ones weren't necessary, but they are there. These are some stickers, which we'll get into in a second, but a lot more warning signs, and I don't like warning signs. I much prefer this anime accurate look, so I just left it all off. But getting into color correction, we're going to be here a while. It's not that bad, actually. Aside from like a little bit of black in some of the verniers just to add a bit of shading, and you know, the ones up here on the back, you know, the usual stuff, that's not a big deal. But most of the paint is up here on the head. The black on the sides here, green up underneath this, as well as behind it. The blue trim on the canopy pieces needs to be painted, though that's where those stickers were. So yeah, this can't open, and that's where a lot of the paint goes. Because yeah, like I said, inside of this, like I said, I used the eye stickers, but that middle camera, I painted yellow. Well, translucent yellow, and it's subtle, but it is there. Then we get to the cockpit, which, oh boy. Yeah, the inside of this I painted black just in there to give it a bit more shading. Pilot figure is flesh tone, so I literally had to fully paint it. Seats need sort of a dark tannish color, not on the back by the way, just on the front area. Controls in there, and in here I'll need a lot of paint. I'll try and get a slightly better shot there. Oh, and the handles need red. So that was fun. Actually, honestly, it wasn't even that bad. And it does look amazing to have a fully painted cockpit in there. And thankfully, pretty much everything else is fully color separated. Like, all the color on this. The only thing that needs paint is on the inside of these panels for the VMAX. A little bit of silver, and I did some black wash in there just to add some detailing. That's literally it. So you do have to put a little bit of paint on the accessories, such as the first accessory, the rifle, which this is just clear plastic, so obviously I did silver behind it and a red translucent over top. Not perfect, it's not completely smooth there, but it's good enough, I'm not going to complain. Also, the blue on this area, I'm pretty sure that's because this was used for the regular Layzner, where only this little area needs to be painted, whereas for this, the whole area, it's not a one-to-one perfect color match. You can probably tell it's slightly off. It's close enough that I'm not going to complain. Anyway, you get movable handle. This one collapses for storage, as well as this being able to shift up for storage. This stuff's color separated though, which is nice. One thing I will say, this is on the same runner as the blue of the feet. It's supposed to be gray on the regular Layzner. I'm wondering if that's color separated properly. Anyway, there's a couple tab slots on the handle and a tab on the hand, and that tab is not strong enough to hold this on properly. Kind of has the opposite problem that the Walker Gallia has, where the tabs on that one are way too strong and won't come off. This one, this barely holds on. The fingers do more work than the actual tab does. Also, it's kind of annoying to actually get it on, so I'm not going to bother right now. You'll see it later when I do the final shot, but yeah, so it's a little bit irritating. Though, you slide this up, turn this around, and fold up this section. This can slot onto either side of the backpack there. Also, like I said, this can rotate. It's literally just for the weapon storage, but it looks pretty good. It works. Going back to the cockpit real quick, you do actually get a second seat if you want to have it empty. It has the little straps to go over the shoulders. I did paint it. I may end up swapping it out at some point. It's not a huge deal either way. I just wanted to paint it because, you know, it's included. And finally, you do get some figures outside of the cockpit, which is nice. And part of the reason that I bought the new Layzner instead of the regular one is because it comes with the actual figures from the second half of the show. Including closer to adult AG. I'm very proud of painting these, by the way. Got some really good detailing done on them. You get his sister Julia. And I used gold gunner marker for both the necklace and the little head thing. And you get Anna, which the white trim on the dress was a little bit annoying. I didn't even get it on the neck because that's a little too finicky to get it in there. But I got it on the sleeves, I got it on the bottom. It's good enough. And you do get Gustero, but yeah, he can burn in hell. I'm not cutting him off. I'm not gonna waste paint on this bastard. Of course, you can you know, close up the fist and fold down the funny electric iron knuckles. And of course, if you come around to the back, you do get the leg missiles. It's a rather famous shot. I'll play it now. features these, and they do actually fold out properly. I love these. It's such a subtle thing. I love that Okawara keeps putting weapons on the back of the shins. The Dragonar has knives, and this has rockets. And of course, how could I forget the big gimmick of Layzner? Ray, activate VMAX!
Ready.
And, yeah, honestly, it's a little underwhelming, isn't it? So let's just pop open a couple panels. Granted, there's a plated version of this, which, of course, is P-Bandai, and that looks a little more impressive. That said, this does expose more detailing, a couple of inner frame bits here and there. But, yeah, I'm gonna put this back now. And finally, because this is using the same runners as the regular Layzner, you do actually get a couple leftover parts. You get a couple extra of these, a couple extra of those. I accidentally cut one out by accident, so I was missing out the runner, but you do get two. A couple of extra vents, which honestly I'm not really sure what the difference is. Oh, they're angled a different way. Okay, fair enough. You get the original arm parts, and a crap ton of massive polycaps. I'm not really sure what else you could use these for besides the Layzners, but you get them. And as for a quick size comparison, this thing's a little big. Yeah, this is about master grade size, and it's 1/48 scale. This is a pretty big kit. This is in scale with Mega Size or the Full Mechanics Kenbu. Feels like a chunky kid's toy. That's how, like, oof it is. So, to wrap this review up, I have mixed opinions on this. The articulation's, like, okay, not amazing, but not horrible. Yeah. Like, the engineering is kind of meh, but, like, the kit is cool. It does everything you'd want it to. And, I mean, it's gonna look great on my shelf. If you want a Layzner, I'd say this is better than the SMP. This has a real presence. And with a little bit of paint, it really becomes something special. I'm sure the regular Layzner is just as good. Anyway, that's all for this review. Be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, helps a lot. Subscribe and hit the bell for future reviews. Go follow me on Twitter for updates. And consider supporting me on Patreon so I can keep making reviews just like this one. And as always, until next time, happy building.